Dad, usually jovial and boisterous, sat silent and brooding. Mom, her eyes red-rimmed and weary, served the dinner with trembling hands. Mark, oblivious to the tension, chatted away about his latest school project. I sensed something was amiss, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. As we dug into our meal, Dad cleared his throat, his voice heavy and husky. "Sarah," he began, "there's something I need to tell you." His eyes, once bright with love, were now clouded with sorrow. My heart pounded in my chest as I braced myself for whatever was coming. "Your mother, she's not well," Dad confessed. "She's been seeing a doctor, but the truth is," he paused, swallowing hard. "The truth is that she's been diagnosed with a serious illness." My world came crashing down around me. I stared at Mom, her face now a mask of pain and fear. Tears streamed down my cheeks as Dad continued. "She's been hiding it from us and from you, Mark. She didn't want to burden us with her troubles." He reached across the table, his hand trembling as he took mine. "I'm sorry, Sarah. I should have told you sooner." For days I walked through a fog of grief and shock. Mom, once the rock of our family, now seemed fragile and broken. Dad was consumed by guilt and worry, and Mark, oblivious to it all, played happily in his room. One evening, as I sat alone in my room, I stumbled upon a stack of letters hidden beneath my bed. They were from Mom, written to Dad over the years, filled with tears, fears, and heartache. In them she revealed a truth that made my blood run cold. She had known about her illness long before we did. She had kept it a secret, fearing our pain and the burden it would place upon us. But in her letters there was more. There were mentions of a man who seemed to have played a part in her suffering. My heart raced as I realised what had happened. Mom's illness wasn't just a medical mystery, it was a crime, one committed by someone she once loved. And now I was determined to uncover the truth and bring justice for my mother. I spent nights poring over the letters, piecing together the story of her suffering and her betrayer. But as I delved deeper into the mystery, I began to understand something else. My Mom, despite her pain and fear, had always put us first. She had hidden her illness not out of cowardice, but out of love. I was torn between my anger at the man who had hurt my mother and my newfound respect for her strength and sacrifice. I wanted to confront him, to make him pay for what he had done, but I also wanted to protect Mom, to shield her from any further pain. As I wrestled with these emotions, I realised that the truth would soon come out. The man who had betrayed my mother was a powerful figure in our town, and rumours of his transgressions were beginning to circulate. I knew it was only a matter of time before he was exposed, and so I waited. I watched as the town turned against the man who had caused so much pain and suffering. I saw my mother's eyes light up with hope as she witnessed justice being served, and I felt a sense of pride, knowing that I had played a part in bringing it about. But as the man was brought to trial, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of regret. For all my anger and desire for vengeance, I realised that I had been blind to the love and sacrifice of the person who mattered most to my mother. As the trial came to a close and the man was sentenced, I knew that our lives would never be the same. The betrayal had left deep scars, both on my family and on our town, but as we faced the future together, I also knew that we were stronger than ever before, for in the end, it was not vengeance that healed our wounds, but love. Love for each other, love for our family, and love for the truth that had finally been revealed. And though the pain of the past would never truly fade, I knew that we could face whatever came next with hope and determination. But as I looked into my mother's eyes, I couldn't help but wonder what other secrets lay hidden within our family. Secrets that might one day come to light and test the bonds that held us together. And I realised that, for better or worse, we were all bound by shared history and by the promise of a future yet to be written.